Hello everyone, today I wanted to go over a topic that many of you have asked me about before, and it's how to improve the speed of your edits. I know in some of my other videos you guys have noticed when I'm scrubbing through the timeline, it's buttery smooth. That's because of a few different things, and we're gonna go over them today. So let's talk about codecs first. So the file format that the camera shoots in is typically an MP4. Now this is a super compressed video file, and it's good for keeping the file sizes on your camera pretty small. However, it's not designed to be edited with. Now, if you have a powerful computer, you can actually get by editing the native MP4 files, and a lot of people do. If you have a super powerful machine, it's definitely possible. I have a MacBook Pro that's a couple years old, and I didn't find that to be the case. It was pretty slow for me. It was a little bit choppy, and the editing experience in Premiere just wasn't that good. So I did some research online, and I found out that in order to have a buttery smooth editing experience, you need to convert your footage from a distribution file format into something that's more of an editing format. So if you're editing on a Mac, that file format that is the editing working format is called ProRes. If you're editing on a PC, it's called DNx HD. So basically that format, the file sizes are much, much bigger, but it'll allow you to edit a lot smoother inside of your editing software. You can scrub along the timeline super smooth, and it'll make your day a lot better. Another tip is to use what's called proxy footage. So a lot of times I don't actually convert my stuff to ProRes, all of my files, because the file sizes are huge and I'm working on a laptop. So another thing that I'll do is create proxy footage. So proxy footage is basically a smaller resolution file of the larger one that comes off your camera. So if you're shooting in 4K on your camera or your drone, you can create proxy files, which are basically smaller resolution versions of the higher resolution stuff that you can use while editing. So then you're editing almost like a standard def video instead of the massive 4K one. Then when you're done, you can export the file, and it'll use the original high resolution footage to output your video in higher res. But while you're editing, you're actually just using a smaller version of the file, which is also super helpful, and that's what I actually do all the time. So the nice thing about using proxy footage is that you can actually store the higher resolution media on an external hard drive, and then the proxy footage locally on your computer. So if you're traveling around and stuff, you don't actually have to have the big hard drive with the stuff with you at all times. You can use the proxy footage to edit in your timeline super smoothly, and then you can connect the external hard drive when you want to export the main stuff. So the final thing, and probably the biggest, most important step, and the thing that I messed up on really badly in the past, is where you store the files that you're working with in your editing program. When I first started off editing, I stored them all locally on my computer, and then I realized right away, after going on trip and trip and trip, that it was just eating away all my computer space. So I started to buy cheaper drives online that I started to use for editing. And what I didn't know is that when you're editing, you actually need drives that are really fast. So I've been using these cheap drives, and I started to notice that as I was working on these projects and stuff, I guess I didn't know when I was creating proxy footage and things, but everything was just super, super slow, painful. And I kept playing around with stuff, and I didn't even know that I hadn't even thought about the fact that it was the hard drive. And sure enough, the hard drive that I was using was USB 2.0. It was a cheap hard drive that I found. So I was using a super, super slow hard drive. So no matter what I did with these other tips, at the end of the day, the hard drive was slow, and that's where all the files were. So I did a bunch of research online trying to figure out what my next hard drive was gonna be. For me, the biggest thing was size. I know a lot of the fast hard drives are desktop hard drives that you have to plug into the wall. And for me, that wasn't gonna work because I travel a lot. I travel for work as a filmmaker, and so I needed something that was really small. So I started to do a little bit of research, and I finally came across a product called the Samsung Portable Solid State Drive. This thing is tiny. It is the smallest external hard drive I've actually ever seen. So this drive is lightning fast, and I actually did a test using this drive, comparing it to the other drives that I had been using, and it was almost 4 times as fast. So this drive for me has literally been a game changer, and over the last few months of using it, my editing process has gotten so much better. I can leave all of my files now on the solid state drive and edit from that, and I don't have to worry about any speed issues. It's lightning fast, and it's really made the entire editing process so much more fun and so much smoother. In addition to that, I put a lot of photos and stuff like that. My entire Lightroom library is all on this solid state drive, and accessing them is super, super fast. So I paired up with the people over at Samsung to give away one of these drives to you guys for free, which is really cool. You can go over to their Facebook page, like their page, and enter the giveaway there. It's actually really great timing too, because I'm just about to hit 20,000 subscribers on this channel, which is crazy. The last 3 years of making videos has been super fun. It's been a lot of work. I've spent a lot of late nights editing together a lot of these videos. It's crazy to think back a few years ago when I first started traveling, like shooting videos on a Canon PowerShot S110, I think. It's just crazy that it's come this far. So if you guys aren't following me on Instagram, definitely go over there and follow me. I am getting ready to go to Japan, and I'm gonna be releasing some very cool content while I'm there. I'm shooting a really cool series for Matador Network in Japan on some rural trails and a trail called the Kumano Kodo. So I will release another video when that video goes live over at Matador Network, and you guys can go check it out over there. If you guys have any suggestions for videos or tutorials you need help with going forward, please leave those in the comments. Go check out the giveaway, and I will see you guys next week.